You're listening to the AfterBuzz TV Network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith Johnson.
From the AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AfterBuzz TV's Fashion Star After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AfterBuzz TV's Fashion Star After Show.
Woo! Here we are.
Yeah.
Welcome everybody to the AfterBuzz Studios here in, and I always say it, I don't care if it's dark out, it's still sunny Los Angeles. This is your weekly dose of NBC's new hit series, Fashion Star. I am your host, Christopher Jozeph. You can feel free to follow me at Vocari Fashion. That's at Vocari Fashion. And we're joined today by a new group. I mean, Stephanie, you're still our regular here, but we got a couple newcomers to the cast here, and we're really excited about this. We're bringing to you tonight some expertise both on the buyer side, the PR side. We got the fashion side represented. This is going to be a really good show. So welcome. Sitting across from me.
Hello. Hi, I'm very happy to be part of the new Fashion Star AfterBuzz
Welcome.
team. I'm very excited. A little bit about me. My name's Diona Vaughan. We like that. Prior to coming to LA to host, I actually used to work in New York City in fashion. I was a buyer for Bloomingdale's. I worked for...
The booth is on tonight, just FYI.
I also, interestingly enough, with Macy's being part of Fashion Star, I worked for Macy's corporate for years. I did product development. I worked for Liz Claiborne.
Wow.
I used to develop accessories for Juicy Couture. I was also a buyer for Express stores. So I've seen it, done it, heard it, and
Kind of a jack of all trades here. I mean, what
I
haven't? I
tried.
guess the question is, what haven't you done?
Whoa.
Which isn't a bad thing to say.
So this is extra fun for me because obviously it's just something that, you know, I love, and it's easy for me to dig into it, have an opinion.
Excellent.
So I'm very excited to be here.
Great. Do you have a Twitter for us to plug?
I do have a Twitter to plug. You can follow me at GoToGirlTV. So that's G-O, the number 2, and then girl, G-I-R-L TV.
Nice.
And you can get all kinds of fun stuff from me and
Excellent.
get commentary about Fashion Star.
Good stuff. To your right, we have Stephanie Wenger.
Yeah,
Hola.
glad to be back doing Fashion Star again. And yeah, I'm an entertainment reporter. So I'm excited to hear all about your fashion expertise at the table. It'll be cool and bring a different perspective because basically I love to shop, and so it's
Well,
nice.
you're definitely in the right
The
room.
right place.
Exactly.
Just saying.
Yeah, so I'm coming from it definitely from the consumer side, so nice to get the inside scoop here.
Excellent.
And yeah, I think that. Oh, and my Twitter
Yes.
is
Plug
not
away.
not as cool as hers. It's just at Stephanie Wenger.
To the point.
Now who you are. That's good.
I'm back across the table, sitting to my left. Who are you?
Hey, I am Virginia Reyna. I actually, thank you.
And spots all around.
Love it. I graduated from the Fashion Institute down in downtown Los Angeles just in December. My degree was in visual communications, so I do the fashion PR side of it. I've done event planning. Like tonight's show, we did a lot of the store displays. So I've kind of had my hand in a little bit of everything as well.
Nice.
And so I'm really excited to be here. I love the show. It's such a great concept. For all
We
these
got
really
quite
cool
the
designers.
melting pot here. I
Yeah.
mean, I think we all bring a pretty powerful pedigree to this show.
Absolutely.
That being said, you know, moving right into the show, we're gonna break it apart. I
Mr.
think
Christopher,
there's-
before you jump right into the show, we of course
The
wanted
booth.
to constantly thank, everyone that
Bing!
shows us. Yeah, bing us up, of course,
Bing!
our sponsor. But also everyone on iTunes who rates and comments our shows. We definitely appreciate that.
Like us.
So much, Chris, to the point where
Gotta like us.
people are commenting and they give us ideas. And one of the comments
That's fantastic.
were we would love to get a buyer. We would love to get somebody who's had that experience. Somebody who's went to the school.
Your wish is our command.
So what I'm saying is, you know, when you chat on the chat room and when you go to iTunes and comment, we bring you the best shows. And, you know, with that said, Christopher, let's let you take it away, man.
Oh, wait, hold on.
It shows that we listen, fans, so thank you.
Can I do my Twitter?
Absolutely. I so apologize.
So mine's pretty simple too. It's just Virginia, just like the state, and Reyna, R-E-Y-N-A, at Twitter.
Awesome. There you go. So you guys got it all. We'd love to hear your thoughts and whatnot about the show. And that being said, I mean, here we are. We're what, fourth show in?
This is week 5.
Or is the fifth? I'm sorry,
yeah.
the 5th show. I was away for the last couple weeks on the East Coast, so let's just contribute it to jet lag or something. I'm still loving the concept.
Okay.
You know, I love the fact that this is kind of bringing a new dimension to the fashion world within TV land and within reality shows, let's just say. That being said, the concept is pretty solid. I mean, it gives designers that instant gratification of being able to showcase their work on a major stage and have that instant gratification of a buyer purchasing right then and there, and your clothing being promoted and represented within those stores the very next day.
Right.
The one pet peeve I still have is that I haven't been able to warm up to the contestants.
It's what we talk about every week on the, and it's that you cannot see enough of the workroom. You don't know their personal stories, and they tried in the last couple weeks to be like, oh, she's missing home, she's this, with individual contestants, but it's still not enough. I don't know these contestants as well as I want to.
Well, I'm gonna play devil's advocate for a second, because I do love the show. At the same time, do you think that learning more about the contestants, is that going to take away from, you know, the actual clothing, you know, of the challenge?
I wouldn't say that it's, when we say learning about, at least when I'm talking about learning about them, I'm talking about the work itself. What's going through your head as a designer to,
the inspiration.
Like tonight, we saw they had to actually create a story, and that's what it was about tonight, is creating that turn the head as you walk by a storefront window. What's going to stop you dead in your tracks to look at that,
to catch your
piece?
attention. Yeah.
So I'm just wondering what's going on in your head to create that piece.
Well, I completely agree.
Like I see enough of that.
Because when I'm looking at it and they have the different like swatches that they're doing, I like to see that part of it too, because it's like, okay, they decided to go with this texture or textile instead of another one. And so I don't think we see enough of that at all. It's like, okay, this is the challenge that they get. And then you just see the clothes that they wear. So you're not really connecting with them and seeing what inspires them or how they change from one look to another.
Exactly.
It's like the story before the story.
Yeah, and like tonight, one of the groups was like, oh, we're doing a nautical theme. And I was like, well, where did the nautical, how did you come up with that? Like, that's so random, but cool.
Right.
But random.
Well, I'm going to add one more thing. It was funny. I was actually talking to a friend about the show earlier before I got here, and we both agreed on the aspect that the mentors, it doesn't seem like they have a bigger role. Like, I want to actually see, you know, see their influence, and I don't think we're getting that yet. And I think if we saw the influence from the mentors to the designers, I think that's when we would get the whole backstory that we're all wanting to see so much of.
Absolutely. I mean, you got 3 heavy hitters.
Yeah,
you got Jessica Simpson, billionaire.
Right.
I mean, she's developed she's carved out quite a spot for herself within the industry. John Varvatos, he's my top 3 designers that I look up to as a designer. And then you've got Nicole Richie, you know, and so I agree with what you're saying.
Yeah.
We don't really see them enough, and how are they inspiring these contestants to bring their A game?
I have a question. Why aren't we seeing that type of activity? Is it, you know, some shows on NBC, they'll run a 2-hour show.
Right.
Is it, do we need more time, or are they editing aspects that we, you know, sometimes you watch a Biggest Loser also on NBC, and you're watching so much of the same thing.
Right.
Is it edited right, you guys, on Fashion Star?
I think it's a matter
talked
of
about
both.
that too.
I think they could use some more time, not as much as like 2 hours for The Apprentice, but you know what I mean? I think they could use more time, and I also think that it could be edited a little bit differently. At the same time, I wonder if they're trying to stay away from being labeled as Project Runway, because we're so used to getting that from Project Runway. You know, we've seen all that, so I don't know if that could be part of it. You know,
but that's reality TV.
Different.
I mean, that is what like you want the drama, because like he was saying with Biggest Loser, like you have 2 hours of just like sob stories, and you see like 5 seconds a challenge.
Right.
As here, you just see the runway. It's like, I feel like I'm not even connecting with these people. The only one I mean, we didn't like Edmund, we agreed on that, but we also didn't like Oscar. That's because you got to see a side of him that was kind of annoying, and that's kind of why we didn't like him.
Right.
You know, but nobody else.
To your point, you still want to have all of your senses stimulated.
Yeah.
If you know where I'm coming from, it's just that there's the visual aspect, there's that emotional aspect that you want to get out of this. So it could be, you know, to your point. Maybe it's not being edited right, and we've talked a little bit about this throughout thus far with the glossing over some of the contestants.
That's what I was just about to say, is that the glossing is a huge problem, because there's certain contestants where I feel like every week they're glossed over, and I'm like, I really want to know your deal, but I don't, and that's a big issue. And I also feel like this show, because they've had so much success at NBC with The Voice, they're following a very similar format to The Voice, but The Voice is 2 hours, so you're getting to see Adam Levine and CeeLo and Christina all with their people instead of with this show. Because of the time limit, you just don't get that side of it.
Well, and it's like when you look at, if we're comparing The Voice, you know, you have these mentors actually taking time out with these contestants and forming that bond, forming that relationship and the friendship. Now, fashion is a different animal.
Right.
You know, it's kind of... it's do fickle. Or die. It's fickle. I mentioned that in the first part. I mean, as a new designer in this industry, I'm not cut from the same cloth in the fact that I just don't get why I don't fit into that stigma of it's ruthless. I don't get it. Nobody gets ahead for being ruthless, you know. So, and not to say that's what this show is about.
Right.
I'm just talking fashion in general. You know, maybe they're not being a mentor like we want them to because they don't want to get too close to someone and have a biased opinion in order to save them on the show. Or
but
I don't know.
We're already seeing that with Jessica Simpson and Ross, because
I know, right? Oddly
just
enough,
he's from Texas, he's being saved somehow, and his designs are just not the best.
Well, I also think just the whole dynamic of who the mentors are. So out of that panel, the only true designer, and I'm not trying to hurt anybody's feelings, but it's John, because we just kind of had this discussion earlier. Jessica, God bless her, she runs an amazing business, but a lot of that is licensed. You know, I doubt very highly that Jessica Simpson is sketching anything. You know,
well,
and Nicole Richie, now
fair.
she has and Nicole Richie, she's a great style icon. We love her. She just started her own line, House of Harlow, so she's still a little wet under the feet when it comes to being an expert in fashion. So I don't know, maybe the contestants wouldn't be getting a fair shake by being mentored separately by the three of them.
And again,
you know?
You bring up a great point. I think that there's a good dynamic on the judge or the mentor side.
Right.
John Varvatos is the true designer, and then you have the juggernaut, you know, Jessica Simpson with beautiful. I mean, she's licensed.
Yeah. Oh no, and I'm not
she
trying
brings
to knock
a different.
her.
No, and that's what I'm saying. This is a good
dynamic.
thing.
Yeah.
This is a great thing. And then style guru, Nicole Richie.
And if you think about it, each of the mentors, they actually speak specifically to the buyers. So John Varvatos speaks to Saks Fifth Avenue. Nicole Richie speaks to H&M because it's very, you know,
her
just
style,
disposable fashion, funky. And then Jessica Simpson speaks to Macy's because she's licensed throughout that whole store.
Right.
So each of them like really has a different, you know, link up with each buyer.
Well, and that's what I think, like when I feel like Jessica Simpson likes something, it's always something you would see in Macy's.
Right.
You know, because that's kind of her brand. It is in Macy's. I mean, I'm not going to lie, I bought Jessica Simpson stuff before. I like her shoes more than anything.
I was going to say, that's my favorite.
Her shoes are amazing.
Loves her shoes.
She can design a shoe
stuff,
and bags.
Right.
Her clothes, not so much. They're more on the like juniors level. But I mean,
sorry, Jessica.
Yeah, no, love her.
She does have great footwear.
Yeah, but you know, so I can kind of see that, and I can definitely see like Nicole Richie with Saks, like not Saks, with H&M, like she wears those clothes, like you can just see her in them. Right. You know, so it's definitely a good thing that they have, but I just don't feel like the connection as much with, like you're saying, with all the different people on there.
Yeah.
Well, good segue. I mean, into the groups tonight. Let's break it down. I mean, our first group is Nikki and Barbara.
Oh, Barbara.
Wow. Whoa, tell me how you really feel.
Barbara. Okay. What was that?
It makes me so mad.
I wouldn't even put that dress on my mother. Okay. Like, what was that?
Now,
What did you think as a man?
We're all watching the we're all watching the show. First of all,
okay,
what was the exact theme?
You know,
of the show?
Oh,
No.
Yeah,
for between remember each group
had a theme.
came up with a theme for the storefront window.
Well,
what was Nikki and Barbara's?
Remember, Nikki was fighting it.
Yeah,
Nikki,
they were
exactly,
they
and
hard to
it
work
took
with.
them
She was
forever
hard
to
work
get
with.
together.
Yeah.
Nikki had mentioned something about a 1930s vibe.
Right.
I'm not sure.
Oh, it was the
it
photography
was-
thing. Remember, she was
photography?
like,
Oh,
"Oh,
yeah.
but that's
Photography.
cheesy." And
Yeah, and it just, they had such varying styles that it was difficult, I think, to come up with that cohesive
It was oil
window.
and vinegar.
Yeah,
well,
really.
It
And
really was.
because some of the other groups tonight, it was a little more,
Understandable.
blended, I guess. And tonight, they were so opposite. But
Yeah. Well, Barbara had that menswear like pinstripe bottom, and it was really high waisted.
The high
so
waist-
it's like
high
your
waist
boobs are
dress.
like sitting right on top of it, and then like it had the blousey chiffon top. It
Yeah.
was just horrible.
That was awful.
I really question her taste level.
Yeah.
I really do.
but I loved Nikki's.
I did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nikki got the
Nikki's
vibe.
staying true to herself, it
Yeah.
seems like. And now Nikki's specialty is swimwear. And it seems to be represented on a weekly basis within her designs. And,
And even on her.
you saw it again. Yeah, and on her. I swear she wore that. The dress that she was standing in tonight.
That dress.
Did she wear that on like the second
That
show or the
dress is
first
her
show or
staple.
something?
She probably has a
Yeah.
million of those dresses in different prints.
It's
and
great.
stuff.
I mean,
It's the same thing.
she's clearly not afraid to get into the trend, into what's trending now.
Right.
She's working with patterns. She's working with color, and it's nice to see because you haven't. I don't feel like I've been seeing a lot of it. I feel like I've been seeing safe playing
yeah.
through the competition thus far. And
Yeah.
not to get too far ahead, John Vervato's brought that up. You know,
Yeah.
we're at that point where it's time to raise the
Gotta
bar.
push it.
But she
Push it.
knows she's good at what she does, and
Yes.
she knows she's her brand, so she can kind of play with patterns. Whereas other designers are like, I don't even know who I am. I don't know what I'm designing. Like Orly, what was the pants? You know, they all just kind of freak out and don't know. But like Nikki definitely knows who she is, who she's designing for. You know, so she can kind of play a little more.
And I have
That
to
was the key word
appreciate-
right there.
Yeah, that she
Clear
knows-
intention on your market.
Exactly. We talked about that. She knows who her customer is. And just coming from my background, you have to appreciate someone who can have a really great eye for prints, because it's very easy to pick a print that's too moderate or too missy. But I think she knows, she has an eye for prints. And
Well,
I
here's
really
a question for
appreciate
you. We know what's trending right now.
that. Right.
Someone comes out with a design that is beautiful. You would wear it, you'd buy it, but it's not the trend. As a buyer, how do you
handle that?
How do you handle that?
Well, it kind of depends on what
Does
it
it
is.
matter?
Well, it depends. So if you're talking about, buying something that's a little bit more basic, like a cardigan, so something that's always going to sit on the shelves, okay, then maybe that's something you replenish and you stock. But if it's something that's totally left base, many times I sat in the chair and I had people come and bring me things and, this is great, this is wonderful. And a lot of times I'd have to say, all right, have you seen the floor of Bloomingdale's? Do you know what's on there? Like,
Everything's coral right now.
Well, where is it going to sit, So that's a big thing for a designer to understand, the store, the aesthetic of the store, the customer, and where you sit amongst all the other brands and merchandise. So to answer that question, it kind of depends.
It depends, yeah.
It depends on what we're talking about.
Well, basics are always basics.
Right, basics are basics. But if you get something like Barbara, that awful pinstripe and chiffon mess, if you get something like that, that's really, maybe it has a place in Casual Corner. I don't know, Dress Barn.
It just wasn't time to bring that
Dress
back.
barn for sure.
But it isn't like, and maybe I think. Watching the show, we're thinking about, how we shop and the store is represented and, stuff like that. She was just really
Well, the
based.
second part of that question is knowing what the trends are right now for everybody, knowing what the trends are right now.
Right.
Do you feel like that's being represented in this show?
No.
Not 100%.
It's about to be summer. Where are all the colors? Like, everything is gray.
I see
and
mid-tones,
black
haven't
and
seen a lot of that.
neutrals.
The
Nothing
lace,
bright.
haven't seen a lot of lace.
Well, I assume
Not
that
a lot.
they knew when
Some.
the show was going to air. Sorry.
Ah.
But the thing is because
You
you're
hit it.
getting all this stuff in stores the next day, they had to pre-tape this show, I believe, almost a year in advance. It's several months in advance.
But the trend predictives are, you get those 18 to 24 months in advance.
You get those way in advance. That doesn't matter.
That shouldn't matter because they select all of that so far. Like that's. Like,
I would have been with you on that because it was taped so far in advance. I feel like some of these designers, remember, some are coming to this show with not a whole lot of experience.
Clearly.
Well, but they got on the show and it's like figure it out.
Right.
You know
like
what I mean?
you would think you would.
Isn't that
look
the other
into
thing
that.
then? What are how do you get, you know?
Well, you have to be. You got to be. Well, I mean, that could be a whole different
what are the,
topic. How do you get
well,
on the
yeah.
show?
I mean, we could go off on a tangent.
But
it's interesting.
To your point, and to your point, yeah, like you get, you know, what the trends are. You know, you get the colors and what the patterns. You get all that stuff a good like 6 to 9 months before the season hits. So the planning process is huge.
Can I just ask a question? Just curious. Who determines what the trend will be for a certain
There
summer?
are trend forecasters.
Trend
Actually, it's a
forecasters.
whole job.
Doniger Group,
Doniger
as an
Group.
example. Shout out.
Style site. I mean,
Yes.
there's a ton, and so they actually go around the world and they predict trends.
It's a horrible
and they do it
job.
That was
What,
a
a
great
fashion show?
that was a great question, Stephanie, because I was like, what? Like trend predictives? I'm learning from you guys.
It takes our predictions to a whole new level.
No, but there are actually books that they make, and they have them from everything from graphic design to interior design to beauty. So all of the like you see everything is coral. You don't just think, because this is what I thought before I went to FITM. I was like, how do the designers just know like everything's gonna be military style? And then they showed me when I was touring the campus. They're like, here are the trend predictives. You get to use them, and they do them 18 to 24 months in advance.
Yeah, because you go into places like J. Crew, Banana Republic, and they're all using the same colors and the same everything, and you're like, well, I like that jacket
it's like
better.
a style
but
bible for the
It
for the
really
season.
is.
all right,
And what's
cool. Well, that's
interesting.
good. I learned something new tonight.
Go to the fashion district. You can pick it up at the Cooper Building.
I was going to say too, what's interesting is that you can also tell what retailers who is like who maybe like hit on a trend a little too early and who did it just right. So the fact that like right now you're seeing bright colors and jeans, like that's everywhere. Whereas actually like bright colors and jeans, actually a couple retailers had it last year. They had it last spring. So that could tell you either they were ahead of the curve, they were too early, or they were really on top of it. They were ahead of it. So
Wow, this is
another
like a sporting event. This is intense.
There's a lot that goes into
There's
this.
a ton
I mean,
that goes into it. So, I mean, that's just something to, you know, like, here's an example, green jeans. I've been obsessed about green jeans. Now they're everywhere.
The minty color?
No, actually, like the color of your dress.
Oh, see, I love the mint. It's so in right now.
And actually, last
And it is,
spring,
right.
Urban Outfitters had them last spring. They've been sitting at Urban Outfitters for over a year, whereas now everybody's got them.
Take a
J.
look.
Crew and the Gap, and, you know, everybody has them.
Notice
So-
the retail outlets that you just mentioned. J. Crew, Gap.
Yep.
Like, yeah, they are always the at the forefront. It seems but here's the
I
thing.
don't know if I call them fashion leaders,
Sorry,
though.
I take that back. What I meant to say is that they consistently carry more or less the same thing, and the colors don't really change a whole lot.
Yeah.
They
Like, I know
really
where
don't.
to go to I always go to the Gap for khakis. Like
Yeah.
that's
Exactly.
the only
Ooh,
khakis
they're
and a
gonna be
white
mad
shirt.
you said that.
Sorry, Gap.
No, but it's
But, yeah.
true. You kind of go where you know you can get a specific style
Exactly.
anytime.
Right.
Any
Day
time
to
of the
day
year.
out. Now, an interesting factoid I'll share with you guys. I'm sure you've shopped at Zara before. No?
Love it.
Love it.
Yes.
One of my favorites.
Here,
Yes,
Zara has
it is
one
one
of
of my
the
favorites.
most dynamic business models in the fashion business. I can't believe I'm still remembering all this stuff. But anyway, they've got the most impressive business model because what Zara is able to do, they can there could be a runway show, like the Paris shows, their Milan shows. Within about 3 weeks, what you see on the runway will be interpreted and in the stores. So they're like really, and it's a Spanish company, they're like ahead of the curve. So a company like that is always going to be like a little bit a step ahead because they're
It's
doing
been
it
interesting
differently.
because I've heard not so good. I do like Zara.
I love it.
For as a menswear designer, I
if you
feel
could
like
fit it,
they
awesome.
were the first ones to kind of hit the masses
Right.
with clothing that was cut for the male physique, and that's
Right.
what
It's very tailored.
that's how
Yeah.
that's my line. My line is completely tailored. For the specific purpose that I want men to look well put together.
Right.
I want them to step out. They're well put together, but they could still go out into the back alley and kick some ass. You know what I mean?
I can't wait to see your line. Nice, Chris.
right here.
Oh, yay! A lookbook.
But that's the thing. There's still things. Well, I'll get more into the men's side of it when we talk about
break it down.
Samiro.
Okay. Should we?
But yeah, talking
if we're
about
gonna get
Zara.
there.
We'll get there. Should we move on to our second
We're gonna gloss.
group?
So, anyways, Barbara didn't really hit the mark.
No.
Nikki, she did hit the mark. She got
She got
a
a buy from
payout,
H&M.
$80,000 from H&M.
So-
H&M, which is great.
Nikki's
I
was
might
winner.
get
incredible.
that dress. I really liked that dress. It had such a nice
And
it's
at
8-pack, and it's
H&M,
at H&M.
which
So you
is-
know it's
Yeah.
pretty cheap.
It'll
Yeah.
be affordable.
That's
Well, and
exactly. We always talk about that.
It fits the palette. It seems
does.
like of H&M. That you
does.
kind of look at it. I feel like we're getting to the point within the show now where even before we hear the breakdown from the judges and from the buyers, we pretty much know who's going where.
Yeah.
We've already almost solidified who's designing for which buyer.
Yeah.
I'm
I agree.
sometimes shocked by the Saks purchases, though.
Yeah, they haven't made a whole lot.
Well, just like we were talking about earlier, I think when it gets to the point where two of the stores are bidding on one designer, I think the designer needs to step back and say, okay, where does my brand, who is my brand and where do I want to be represented?
Exactly.
Do I want to be mass market H&M or do I want to be a little higher brow, Saks Fifth Avenue, higher price point, what kind
These
of visibility?
designers aren't really hitting that
And I don't
specific.
think they're thinking about that
Well,
yet.
no, because Sarah was. Remember, she was saying how she always gets the H&M buy, but she wants to design for everybody else. But we were saying, like, why switch? Like, your
Exactly.
H&M, roll with it, you know?
Yeah.
There's your market
Keep
research.
to your
That's your
brand.
feedback.
Yeah. I think at this point, a lot of the designers, they just want to get a buy.
Right.
They just
Yeah.
don't want to go home.
Like
so I get that
anybody.
too. You know what I mean?
That's a little
So,
convoluted.
yeah. Okay.
Moving on to the next group. Oddly enough, these two are consistently glossed over week in and week out. Ronnie and
Hated
Luciana.
that.
However, big story this time around. Although they more or less glossed over it and we didn't get to hear what the story was, Ronnie makes his first sale and a big one at that. So claps out to Ronnie.
Yes. It was that sexy deep V
Yeah, the
dress.
backless,
Yeah.
which seems to
That's
be
a great
in
name,
right now.
by the way, Ronnie. That's a really good like that. So I like that you guys were clapping. It's not me, but still.
You're not biased at all over there.
Awesome name.
Now, the only thing I have, and we can talk about this, Virginia, the only thing that bothers me about that dress is for girls, if you got big girls, you can't wear a bra with a
this
dress
is
like
an
that.
issue that came up on Project Runway all the
hate that,
time.
yeah.
Is that can you wear a bra with the dress? And that was not a dress you can wear a bra with. But it's still a super cute dress.
Right.
It's fantastic, but the girls need
Just makes
support.
me jealous.
That being
Like,
said,
oh, I wouldn't be able to
Let's,
wear
you know.
that.
that being said, are we surprised at who the two buyers were going back and forth and not who, at least I think it should have been? It was Macy's and H&M, not Saks, and I would have thought Saks.
I agree with you. I think the silhouette of that dress, now
Right?
not knowing what kind of fabric he was using, like I don't know if it was a silk jersey or if it was poly.
Stay
but
away
yeah.
from the club rat, right? Is that what you
Yeah.
just
That was
said?
what it was.
Yeah, depending on the fabric, and of course we don't know what that was.
Yeah.
That could have easily been a Saks Fifth Avenue buy for sure. I agree.
See, and that's what I want to know more of. What kind of fabrics are you guys
Yeah.
using?
Right.
We don't
they don't
know.
say anything
We
about
don't
that.
know.
It's like,
Yeah,
was
I
it
mean-
a jersey or
Yeah,
was it
no
some
idea.
Ross
kind
got
of silk?
called out for that on the second show. Yeah, because it was before I left. He was using a heavier cotton twill, and they were going, we're talking about spring,
Ross?
summer.
Well,
What
that
are you
was
doing?
awful. That was like that weird jacket that
Yeah.
had the plaid, and it was just
We'll
like
save
wrong
Ross
season.
for
we'll
the
say
next group.
I kind of went ahead, but
Yeah.
that's the thing. And Luciana, and again, both of them have been missing the mark, and both of them have a big payday. She gets $100,000 from
Saks.
who we were just
From
talking
Saks,
about
yeah.
for the
she
sexy
had
dress.
her
Yeah.
and see, that's why I thought they would have been switched, because she had the one that was a little bit racy. That one
Yeah.
couldn't do a
Yeah.
bra either.
Well,
Yeah.
to be perfectly honest, it was glossed over so quickly. I don't even remember seeing either of their
I know.
designs. It was
Yeah.
just
I know.
so quick and fast. So
Yeah.
It makes me wonder,
Gotta fix
why
that.
is it those two that are, do they not have a
don't
good
know.
enough story behind them? Like, what's going on with them? I want to know more about them.
I'm wondering if they're just like worker bees in the in the workroom, and they just like don't have issues. You know what I mean? Because like you see a lot of the other people having those like breakdowns and those issues, and maybe they're just quiet workers and just get
maybe
their
they
stuff
just
done.
don't have.
Well, they
Hey,
started
personalities.
they
Yeah.
started a story with them saying how close they were.
Yeah.
That's kind of how it was. And then I was like, okay, and now we're going to show you their clothes and
Yeah.
tell you nothing else.
Yeah.
Well,
And-
last week, Luciana, she had the issue with her pattern maker. It was getting a little, like, do you guys
Yes.
remember
Oh,
that?
yeah.
Like, the pattern maker, they kind of got into it. And I was like, oh, okay, we're getting some drama. But, we didn't get
Yeah.
it this week.
So do you want to go into Ross?
Next group?
Yeah, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Ross, Sarah, Orly. Interesting group being put together. I wouldn't want to be in the group with Ross. I'm just not I don't understand him. He's very vocal and opinionated about how much he figures he knows.
I think I don't think he understands a woman's body. I don't think he knows what looks good on a woman. And I don't think his taste level is anywhere where it should be.
No, like I completely get it because I am from Texas. And before you leave Texas, you think you know everything about fashion. And then you come here and you're like, wow. Because I mean, like I said, I bought Jessica Simpson stuff back in the day when I lived in Texas.
That's okay.
You know, but it was like the ruffled skirt.
I know, right?
You know, but it's just different taste level. And I think, and he talked himself up so much. Oh, I'm a tailor. I do this. I do that. But it's like, when has he tailored anything? Those shorts that he had a few weeks ago were
If you're
awful.
gonna say things about yourself, you better be able to back it up.
Absolutely.
Especially on this show. They're going to be watching.
Yeah.
Oh, well, you said that you were this great tailor extraordinaire, a clothier.
And he also has a big issue with not following the mentor's suggestions. He goes completely 180 from what they say and then wonders why he epically fails. And you're just like,
we
really?
got a good taste of that the very first show.
Exactly.
I think he needs to try menswear, to be perfectly honest. I think anyone with, that type of tailoring, I think he should try menswear because I don't think it's working in women's.
It's not
I don't know. It didn't work for Edmund.
Well,
yeah.
We'll get to that later too.
So he came out with now the theme of this was a Gossip Girls type storefront window.
Right.
Ross had the women's vest. Now here's the thing. We all said it simultaneously. When that first look came out with the bow tie and the vest, we were kind of like, you just accentuated the girlfriend's hips.
Yeah.
Doesn't look good.
Yeah.
I throughout started warming up to the vests. I'm a vest guy. I love vests. I'm like, okay, for you, I didn't feel like he messed up in any way for the first time.
What we talked about, I liked the vest too, but it was the way it was styled because he had like a bigger t-shirt underneath and it was hitting the model like just at the wrong point.
It was blousy at the bottom.
Accentuated the wrong parts of her body. So I think it was just styled
The next ones up were definitely better.
I love a vest because for bustier women, it makes you look smaller in the middle because it kind of like pulls it all in. So a good vest styled right can actually make you look very nice.
It made the first model look more pear-shaped.
Right.
Yeah.
Which brings me to the question, are they also doing all the complete styling on the models? Because again,
ask about that.
That's something, I guess that goes back to the very beginning about not learning more, or like who's doing all the styling. I would assume it's
As a
them.
designer, I like to style my own, but sometimes you're not given that kind of time.
No, but I think they are because I do remember them going back. Do you remember when they had the jacket with the shorts? There was a guy, he had the leather jacket with the shorts and the boots, and they were like, why did you style it that way?
Oh, yeah. Hey, let's not get going on him, okay? Because I got issues with that gentleman.
No, but do you know, like, they said, why did you style it that way? So I believe they're styling it themselves.
You also see them in the hair salon, at the very least, telling people how they want the hair with their stuff, which obviously is not styling the outfit, but you're getting an overall look going.
Right.
You do want to create a look. That's the thing. I know some designers do have stylists come in. I'm of the opinion that, listen, it doesn't stop just with the clothing. You still have to have it portrayed a certain way. I had my fashion show and I did leave some of it up to a stylist. It didn't come out the way that I really intended it. I mean, I'm more of like John Varvatos, I have more of a rock influence within my collection and I like to portray it that way, and when someone else comes in who doesn't necessarily know your vision or they don't share in your vision, that can kind of take a chip out of your collection, in your view.
It can completely change everything about what you have. You could be going rocker and then they see like punk and then it's completely different, So it's like, why would you give that kind of power up to somebody else? Because it's like your idea is in your head. So you should have the whole entire look created by you.
So Orly, who was also in that group,
all over the place tonight, unfortunately. Poor girl, and I like her.
I like her a lot.
I sympathize with her, though.
I like her a lot, but those shorts, oof, that was a fail. It was a big fail.
And because of that, no offer.
No offer.
No offer.
Sarah had with her reversible jacket that we all kind of thought was okay, and then
John just tore it apart on that.
Yeah.
he did.
Well,
that goes to
that's when he
show
made the
you,
comment.
you
Are we
know?
raising the bar at this point?
Right.
You know?
But I think he's maybe just challenging her because she's gotten a buy every single week.
She has.
So it's like she needs to
She's
kind of
doing
step it
something
up.
right.
And she's like H&M's buddy. Like
Yep.
they, every week, and I think it was a $60,000.
Yeah.
It was
buy
by
to-
H&M.
Right,
yep.
by H&M. Mhm.
And
With the comments saying it's almost like the new cardigan.
Yeah, and we love that.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, I'm going to go get
That's
one.
super cute. And again, H&M, which,
Yeah.
you know, I can actually afford.
And Russ, just not to gloss over Ross, but he did make a sale to Macy's for $50K.
You're absolutely right.
Wah. You got lucky.
And then moving on to the next group.
Kara, Zamiro, and Edmund. Oh, Edmund.
Oh, Edmund.
When you're
Yeah.
designing this far, you're all women, and then poof. Oh, I feel like designing men's today.
I feel like I could have made that shirt, and I have had
may as well wear a
very-
white t-shirt.
Yeah, I mean, I've only sewn Halloween costumes, you know, but I could have made that black shirt.
It wasn't a good move. We all agree.
Yeah, just
Unfortunately
changing
so.
course right in the middle just doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Kara, we all seem to like Kara. She's that, I feel, kind of
I love her.
I might be the only one in the room, but I'm not a fan.
Really?
No?
I don't know
Okay.
what it is.
I
but
love
no.
her.
I don't know if I love her designs. I love her, like, she's the one person where I get her story. She's moving from this teacher world into
Yeah.
the design world, and I kind of respect that. Like, go after your dreams, and that seems like a really cool aspect of it.
I love her personal style, like her outfit that she was wearing on
Exactly.
stage. Like, make that, and I will go by that. I love
Exactly.
her personal style. She knows who she is. She was a dark horse because she started out making those ties,
Oh, the
remember? And I was like,
ties.
where is she going to, validate herself? And I think she's
I feel
edgy
like she
and ahead
made
of the
clothing
curve.
for Fred Flintstone tonight, unfortunately. Especially with the green tie.
I didn't completely hate it. I really didn't. Like, I thought for her it made sense because she is a little bit, she's edgy, I think she takes a fashion risk unlike a lot of other people on the show.
I like the exaggerated dress shirt
Yeah.
for women. I think it looks rather sexy, especially when you can cinch it in or it flows
Right.
just
Now,
right
if
that
you
you
could
don't have
belt
to.
it, that would be something for me. But see, I
Yeah.
like having curves. Like, I
Yeah,
like,
me and
you know,
we could not wear that
no,
dress.
I would look like I was 9 months pregnant.
Look like you're wearing a potato sack, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And it just seemed like some dress that you would also, we talk about it a lot, but on a hanger, if I saw that dress on a hanger, I would just be like, that is too much fabric. What
Yep.
would I do with that? Like, no.
You bring up a good point. A lot of the things that the designers have to think about, it's hanger appeal. So if you notice in some of the past episodes, a couple of people had like the convertible clothing and stuff like that.
Orly.
Yeah, Orly did that convertible dress, remember?
loved that dress,
And one of the
too.
comments she actually got, I believe it was from Macy's, is that, okay, this is a great concept, but you have to think about what is this going to look like on the hanger? It's going to, like,
Or
at
how
the
will
end
you
of the
get
day,
it?
it's going to look messy. You go in a department store and stuff's on the floor and it's got to be fixed. So that's something to consider.
That's definitely true because there's been times where I've tried on clothes and I'm like, which way does this go? Where does my arm go in?
Exactly.
And then I'm just like, forget
Yeah,
it. Like,
and
I'm
if,
not.
if the customer's not
Have I
going to take the
mentioned
time
I'm
to
glad I'm
figure it
not a
out,
woman? Just saying. Just throwing that out there.
life is a lot easier for you in the fitting room. Yeah.
Basically, yeah, my rule is if I can't figure it out in the fitting room, like, what's the point in bringing that home? Like,
Right.
I have to be able to be like, oh, this looks decent, cool, I'm buying it, I can totally wear this,
Right.
and put it on at 7 in the morning when I'm, like, half asleep.
And that's something that a designer needs to understand too as part of the process. It's not just about being creative and designing
Right.
something pretty, but you also need to think about the end user and the customer, and what's going to
Right.
be easy for them.
Well, we say it all the time. You got to have clear intention. There was
Yeah.
a few cases of that throughout this show tonight with Sarah and H&M. It sounds like she wants to go maybe with Saks. There's your market research. You got it right there in front of you. Go with it. Now you know who your demographic is. You know who your buyers are.
Right.
And it was said earlier on in the series, there was, I believe it was between Saks and H&M for. I think it might have been I think it actually might have been for Zamiro.
I think it was.
And I'm looking at it going, they're two very distinct animals in the marketplace. You have Saks here, and it's not to say H&M is here. It's just a different. It's a different market.
It is.
So
Completely
where do you
different.
want to go? Do you want
Yeah.
to design higher brow, or do you want to design more mainstream? It's so,
And I think another thing too is some designers might think that I'm here, but really you're here. But there's nothing wrong with it. It's
It's
about
constructive
learning,
criticism
Yeah,
that
it's
they're
about learning
getting.
who your brand is.
Well,
you
and it's
know?
who you are.
Right.
Like, I mean, I wouldn't want to just be like, oh, well, I want to design for Saks, so I'm just going to completely abandon what I love to design.
Right.
Just because it's going to be an H&M forever. Although, I don't know. The thing is with Macy's, like, it's so, I don't know what I have against Macy's. I never shop there, and it's the only, I live in downtown, and it's the only thing down there. But it just feels like Macy's is the one place you can get not in LA. Like, we all live in LA. So, you know, we can go to a Saks or we can go to an H&M. But it's like, if you go to, like, Podunk, wherever in the Midwest, you can't get that. You're only going to get Macy's. You know?
Well, I have to say, Macy's...
And for the record, we love we love our Podunk fans.
We love the Podunk.
I was going to ask you guys a question. Do these designers have, I guess, the versatility to do the different types of, you know, the higher end, and then just maybe something for H&M, or do they seem to be welcoming of that, or are they more stubborn, direct? How does that work?
I don't feel like we've seen them really.
There's no range.
There's not some range. The way that I look at it is, if you're getting your feedback, let's just use Sarah. She's a perfect example. She's being bought up like crazy by H&M. So obviously that's her
There's
market.
something to be
Now,
said, yeah.
if you want to design for Saks, take a look at what you have previously designed, and then just step it up. What's
raise
going
the
to
bar.
take it to Saks?
What's going to make it more high fashion?
Well,
that's what I was
it's
saying.
the fabrics. It's, you know, it's the construction. You know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But like that's going back to my comment on the whole Midwest thing or wherever. They have a different, like, you don't dress like that in the Midwest. Like, you're not going to be high fashion. There's no point to it. You know, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, well, not that there's no point. Okay, let me rephrase that. I'm sorry. But you know what I'm saying? Like, if you are from a small rural town, you're not going to wear that to school. Like, when I went to FITM, everybody dresses up for school. You go 2 miles south, you go to USC, everybody's in sweats. You know, it's just like where
Went to USC.
Well, you're doing well.
Macy's, USC.
But I'm just saying, like,
No, it's true.
I get what you're doing.
We do love our sweats. Like, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, and so it's just a different, like, who are you selling it to? And that's kind of what you have to think. And that's why I think Ross, good for Macy's, because that's his style. It Texas people, they shop at Macy's.
No.
They're not really going to go to Saks or to H&M as much.
I get what Ronnie's saying. I mean, he's asking, you know, do they actually have the range to go to where it is they want to go if they don't feel that they are where they are? Does Sarah have the range to go to Saks?
I don't know if we know that about them yet. I don't think we've seen enough of their personalities and their design aesthetics.
That's that warm, cold thing that we haven't,
you know, so
gotten.
Maybe we'll see it soon.
True.
So within this group, Kara no offer, Zamiro no offer, and Edmund no offer, and Zamiro,
I love
he
that jacket.
created the jacket, and you know, being the only menswear designer in the show, and then me having my take on this, I'm kind of looking at it going, okay, I see the buyer's point. It doesn't look like anything that hasn't been done.
That's what I was going to say. It seems like a good jacket. Like, I help friends dress and things like that, and, like, we'll pull items for them. And it's like, it's a good jacket, and I could see it, but it's a basic for the most part.
It's a foundation piece.
Yeah.
And I say that a lot. I mean,
we could say that about a lot of people's stuff.
Exactly.
Sure.
The convertible
Sure.
jacket,
You know?
that's a basic, but
Nikki's
I liked
maxi
it.
dress.
but at
Is
least
that
there was
different,
something
you know?
there, like with his
Maybe with a different color choice. Maybe something.
color choice, fabric, maybe even the cut.
Hey Chris, I would love to get a perception of a viewer, a phone call.
Yeah, do we have?
Yeah, if you guys want to hit us up, 424-256-1729. 424-256-1729. We are of course a live show. So let's see what we can get on the phone.
Yay. Awesome.
Do you want to go to a commercial?
AfterBuzz, hello.
Oh, hello.
Oh, hello.
Hey, hello.
Hello.
Hi.
What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Chris, it's Adrian once again from Raw.
What's up, buddy?
Hey, I actually have 2 questions for you since you guys are talking about designers and, you know, fashion on the business side.
Yes.
And from what I know, you said that you used to be like a pro snowboarder or you used to do extreme sports, correct?
Yep.
Have you ever thought of doing like a line for, you know, extreme sports?
I've had that question before. No. And here's the reason why. That's not where my head's at, and I feel like it's almost like looking at denim and working in a collection like me. I'm not going to do what I don't know. There's companies out there that specialize in that sort of thing. Man, let them go, because extreme sports is extremely extremely, no pun intended, technical.
It's a niche market for sure.
It is.
Yeah.
You're talking about weather elements. There's a lot that goes into it. You got to take that into account. It's extremely technical with the way that those garments are put together, rather than what we're talking about now, which is more of a higher fashion, high-end street, contemporary, that sort of thing. Good question. I mean, I like where I'm at right now. That would just be honestly too far over my head.
Oh, okay. And my next question is, since I heard you are now with a retail store, Explosion, no plug there, by the way.
Nice.
But I just wanted to know, how does that process go? Do you just send them samples, or do you make like meetings about it, or how does that go exactly?
Well, I think this is a question that I could hand off if you don't mind, because we have a buyer extraordinaire in the room. So
Hi.
Explain how, and I mean, as a designer, yeah, I have a rep.
Okay.
So Adrian, to answer your question, I do have a rep that would approach a buyer, and then
So basically the process would be your rep, Chris's rep would approach, say you would approach Saks, or would approach Nordstrom's, you would send the buyer line sheets. You would possibly send samples.
Perhaps a lookbook.
Yeah, a lookbook to represent, what his line looks like, so they get a snapshot of who he is as a designer, where he fits in with their brand matrix, all that kind of stuff. And then the next step would obviously be getting an appointment, getting to sit down with a buyer and going through your collection.
And actually doing the touch and feel.
You're doing touch, feel.
You want to know what you're buying.
Right, you want to know what you're buying and for what season. So the next season coming up would be November of this year, holiday season. So what in Chris's line represents something that they want to buy using their, open to buy dollars. So in a nutshell, that's how it works.
It can be, and that's a good question, Adrian. I mean, it can be one of those things where it sounds more complicated than it is. I come at it where it's
simple.
It's actually pretty simple. Just know the season, know your fabrics, because we've seen it already that somebody, Ross, not he used a fabric that was way too heavy for the summer, and he got called out on it.
And just like any business, it helps to have some context.
Yeah, network.
Sorry. It's just how long does it normally take per se? Like, what was like the quickest way that you get a line instantly, or even reject a line?
Adrian, real quick, let's do this. Let's finish up the recap of the show. We'll go to commercial, and I'm sure the guys here will be able to talk about it in more of like a special segment.
Yeah, we'll keep watching, Adrian. We'll actually address that.
Yeah, thank you for the phone call. Of course, always show us love on the chat room. We appreciate it. Let's wrap the call, finish up about the actual show, Fashion Star, and keep it moving like that. And then we will get to it though. Thank you, Adrian.
Thanks, Adrian.
Okay,
Cheers, buddy.
And Lillian did great on SmackDown, by the way.
Oh,
so
thank
awesome
you
for her.
Appreciate that.
So
He's
excited.
a fan.
Yeah.
I love it. All right. Do we have any other callers, Ronnie?
No, if you want to hit a commercial, we could go ahead and
Let's
do
hit
that
it.
All right.
AfterBuzz TV.
Hi, I was once like you, a lazy, angry loner whose only joy was watching TV and surfing the net. And, like you, after I'd see one of my favorite TV shows, I'd be so excited and have so many questions that I'd actually have to talk to my douchebag coworkers about it at the water cooler. Then I discovered AfterBuzzTV.com. AfterBuzz TV produces after-show webcasts and podcasts for TV series of all kinds, like post-game wrap-up shows for all your favorite TV shows. AfterBuzz TV hosts are industry insiders who break down episodes of shows, take calls from fans, and interview cast and crew from each series, with over 60 different after shows, from Boardwalk Empire to American Idol to Vampire Diaries to Real Housewives, and more. Now, after a night of TV, I can ignore my stupid coworkers, who I hate, and go straight to my desk and watch or listen to all my favorite AfterBuzz TV after shows, and have all the TV fan interaction I need. Thank you, AfterBuzz TV.
AfterBuzz TV. What do you want to buzz about?
Well, I know what I want to buzz about. I want to buzz about the bottom three. Gone. Okay, so here we're going into the bottom three. We've got Barbara, which we're not too surprised. Actually, the bottom 3 we weren't surprised at all with.
No.
Yeah.
Unfortunate about Orly. She just didn't have it together this week, and I get that. Sometimes you just have a bad day.
Yeah.
And then we have Edmund, who made a rather ballsy move.
That stupid shirt. Come on, Edmund. It was just boring.
He also has made his identity as a women's designer and then moved suddenly to men's, and you were like, wait, and then did a basic shirt. At least come out with a statement if you're gonna do that.
Yeah.
That sent him home. I mean,
But the problem was that they just decided to keep Barbara. My thing with Barbara is I forget that she's even on the show.
Oh,
you know,
I'm with you, Virginia. I don't get it with her.
Do you feel that as much as we might not be digging on her designs, do you feel that because she's playing it so safe that she's designing for the everyday consumer?
I don't even think that she's necessarily playing it safe. I just don't know who she is. I don't know her point of view. I don't know who she's designing for. I don't get her aesthetic, her taste level, none of it.
At first I thought she was designing for women like her. That was the initial idea that I had of her. And then it kind of got muddy, and I didn't understand exactly where it went. She was trying to be this cool designer, and now I just don't feel like she has a customer, and that's going to be a big problem for her. But
why are they saving her? That's what I want to know.
I don't understand. I would have actually saved Orly, and
but she didn't need it.
She didn't need it, which is the thing, which is probably why they saved her for the sake of knowing that Edmund was
maybe they're
hasta lasagna.
Maybe, I was shocked that Barbara was saved.
I'm hungry for lasagna also.
I know, exactly.
But I'm definitely rooting for Orly, and in the words of the infamous Tim Gunn, next week she better make it work.
Well, that being said, I mean, it was a great show. Why don't we take this little opportunity to kind of go around the table here? Anybody got something going on?
Oh gosh. Well, I'm gonna have some stuff in the works soon. Hosting a beauty type show. It's gonna be web based, and I've got my website, Go To Girl TV. Okay. So people can. I like that. So people can tweet me, tune in, where I basically, share my budget tips for, finding great fashion, for getting your car fixed, for movies, for dates. I just
kind of a one-stop shop.
It's inherently in me that people just come to me for where to go, what to do, and I give it to you all on a budget.
Love that. Hey, these days it's all about budget.
Important. Yeah.
Do you find that it's hard to kind of figure out exactly what you want to do because you just like doing everything? Because I feel like I kind of get that vibe from you.
What? It's hard for me. No, she's all over the place.
No. You just you get so excited about everything.
I know.
And I kind of feel the same way. I'm like, well, I don't want to just do this.
Yeah.
I don't want to just do this. I like to do it all.
Oh no, I feel like that's.
I think the niche for me is that everybody's always kind of called me a go-to girl, so that's where the whole website even came from.
That's so cute.
And the twist I put on it, since I am kind of because people would come to me and say, "Hey, Diona, I'm getting a chair reupholstered. Can you show me where to go?" I'd have an answer. "Hey, I'm going out on a date. Can you give me a good restaurant that's not going to cost a lot?" I'd tell you where to go. "Hey, I need some new clothes," and so on and so on. So my underlying...
You got to get a nap.
That's the only thing I don't know how to do. But my underlying message is that I try to do it on a budget. And I think after living in New York City for 12 years and working in fashion and having to be thrifty, and now I'm here in LA, different lifestyle, different career, I figure it out. I figure out how I can get things done and for a cheaper price.
Well,
so that's,
My number one question is, where was your passion for fashion? And then even for me, and this is the worst day for me to talk about looks or whatnot, but my point is, when I was overweight for a long period of time, and I was 315 pounds at my highest. And my point is, when I was there, I had no passion for fashion. And again, today is not the day for me to say that I am somewhat interested.
You always look good, buddy.
My point is, where do you guys get that? What is it about fashion? Is it an empowerment thing?
I've
what
always
drives
loved
you?
to shop.
Okay.
That's
I'm gonna
a great
kind of
question,
take
Ronnie.
that and say, what do you notice first when someone walks into the room? The person or the clothing? Because there seems to be a debate.
I can't separate the two.
I can't either.
I can't.
It's an overall
and
look.
I think it's probably because of just my background, but I don't separate the two. To me, it's all the impression. It's the hair, it's the teeth, it's the face, it's the clothes.
And also,
shoes.
isn't it a thing about confidence too? I mean, if
Absolutely.
am I wrong there? If
No.
somebody is ridiculous with what they're wearing, but they own it, they feel it, they have that vibe. I
Sure.
mean,
Well,
I think.
I think so. I think that for me, it's always the person, but within that, it's the way that you're wearing the clothes, and because the confidence shows through. I mean, if you're not confident in what you're wearing, it's gonna change what you're
Okay,
doing.
let me throw this at you. See, because I say it's the clothing that you notice first. If someone walks in naked, are you looking at their face?
Now that's just a little.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. It's kind of the same thing because your eyes kind of go because there's color to what you wear. Like when I walked in, I noticed the color first before looking. Now that's not say anything bad. I'm just saying. I just no. You just had color about you.
I agree.
And I'm
No,
like,
and
oh,
I
you're
think-
looking very fresh today.
Yes. Okay.
You know, so it's that kind of.
And I have to say though, like I come from a journalism background, so I definitely like know the hard news side. So I'm always interested in people's stories. So maybe that's where it's coming from. I don't come from that fashion world. I mean, I love to shop and it's great and fun, but I definitely want to know who you are, and clothing helps for sure.
Well, to Ronnie's point, the whole confidence. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, but I mean, I completely agree with you because it's like, okay, you can throw on a great dress and great heels, but if you're not styled right, if you don't have the accessories, or if your hair, like I hate when I see people that are like looking really good, but they don't bother to fix their hair or put on makeup. I'm like,
You're
like,
only half done. You're half done.
You go the extra mile. I agree. So even someone, and that brings me to the whole thing about style, you know? It's like a lot of people think that you have to spend a lot of money, you know, for it to look good in style, and it's not about that. You can pair H&M or Forever 21 with designer, and it's all about how you put it together. You know, it's all about how the whole package looks. You know what I mean? So
a friend of mine today was wearing Chanel with an H&M scarf.
There you go.
Looked great.
Yeah.
I mean, fashion's
Yeah,
fashion.
it's all about just the completed look. So for me, it
does.
goes together.
You do get a confidence though from what you wear.
You do.
You know, when you get a new outfit, there's
High
nothing
heels.
like putting it on, walking out, and you're like, I'm feeling it.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Yeah, no, I completely agree because if I'm in a good pair of high heels, I feel like I
You're
can rule
rocking
the
it.
world.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
If
Makes you feel good.
it's so great. Yeah, exactly.
And
Cute pair of shoes is the basis for everything.
Cool.
For me, my thing has always been accessories. I worked in accessories for a long time. So for me,
Accessories
I
is that final touch.
I don't leave the house without some kind of accessory. Like I'm wearing a million necklaces
I'm liking
right
it.
now.
I like it.
I feel naked without it, but that's how I can wear a stupid white T-shirt and a black jacket. But you put
You
the
just
accessories
dressed it
on.
up, though.
Exactly. So
That's the thing.
I'm a huge proponent of accessories. It's the easiest and cheapest way to change your look. And if you're overweight, and if you're not feeling good about your body, or if you're having a bad hair day, it doesn't matter. You pop on an accessory.
I get you. Well, before we run out of time, let's hit predictions and talk about next week.
And now,
Booyah.
your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
I always get so floaty when that happens.
Like a wavy screen or something.
Well, oddly enough, I feel like we know who the favorite is next week. Be it that the theme is swimsuits. Nikki, anybody?
Yeah. If Nikki doesn't hit it out of the park, there's something wrong.
But it's almost like you've seen those episodes on Project Runway where they're like, oh, this guy's a costume designer. He's going to do amazing. And then they totally just,
setting us up for
fail.
failure. Yeah.
Maybe
so-
they get too confident.
Exactly. Or maybe they stress out so much because they're like, oh my gosh, I have to do good.
The pressure's on me.
Yeah. So
Okay.
it's possible. You
Who's
never
going
know.
home?
I hope it's
Hopefully
Ross.
Barbara.
For me, it's between Ross and Barbara. I'd love to see what Barbara's going to bring to the table next week.
I would have to agree with you.
I think
I would have to agree.
Ross seems like he's really got to step up whatever he's doing because it's just so.
Or start listening.
Yeah, that too. That would help.
That helps
for sure.
Well, and the only other person that might be in trouble is Zamiro, to be honest. His range hasn't been shown.
I think he got a little cocky.
Yeah.
Because
Well,
remember,
they're looking for range. They want to see the capsule,
beginning,
remember?
He was getting picked up, and then last 2 weeks he hasn't gotten a bye. So.
Well, that's it. Well, thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. Make sure to check us out at AfterBuzz TV, Facebook. Like us, please. Like us.
Like.
Really like us. No,
Love us.
thank you so much for your support. You can catch us next week, same bat time, same bat channel.
Yeah.
I'm Christopher Jozeph.
I'm Diona Vaughan.
I'm Stephanie Wenger.
And I'm Virginia Reyna.
We'll see you next week.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz
you later.
Yeah, I got you.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.